With the global job market in tatters thanks to the onset of the coronavirus pandemic, there's no doubt that the focus of many has landed on the electrical industry, which seems mostly unchanged by the spread of COVID-19. And while this makes sense considering the necessary nature of the job, it must be said that there are some aspects of the trade that electricians absolutely hate to deal with. But what are the things that electricians don't like about a job? And how can you prepare yourself to deal with these things in the future? Well, whether you're on the lookout of a new career path or just want to know more about the various options out there, you've come to the right place, as we're about to explore everything there is to know about the negative side of the electrical industry. So strap yourselves in and get ready to take some notes, as things are about to get interesting. But before we get into it, make sure to leave a like and subscribe with notifications on so you don't miss out on any of the new videos we post. Number 1. It can feel like a never-ending journey. First up on our list is the actual process of becoming a full-fledged electrician, which is considered to be both positive and negative when you really think about it. On the positive side, you don't need an undergraduate degree or certification for you to start working as an electrician. All you really need to do is enter an apprenticeship, which consists of you working under a tradesman while studying at the same time. This takes around 4 to 5 years to complete, but means that you can start earning an income without having to first spend all those years at university without a steady inflow of cash. That being said, this can sometimes feel like a bit of a never-ending chore, especially when you get to the midpoint of your apprenticeship. You see, after spending around 2 or 3 years working for a professional electrician, you'll already feel as if you're trained enough to deal with a number of electrical problems on your own. But at the end of the day, your boss will be unable to send you out on your own. Simply put, this is because you need around 10,000 hours of on-site training and 1,000 hours of classroom work under your belt before you're able to work independently. Working under someone with no prospects of moving up in the world for a total of 5 years can feel quite frustrating, so if you're feeling this at the moment, just know that it gets a lot better. Once you've completed your apprenticeship and are allowed to be sent out to attend problems on your own though, you'll be faced with another choice. You see, finishing up your apprenticeship is just the first step you need to complete. If you want to go on to open your own electrical business, there are quite a few courses that need to be completed on top of this. Once more, you'll find yourself frustrated by the process, feeling like you're in a great position to move on to better things, but unable to due to the certificates that are attached to your name. But you need to remember that being an electrician is a dangerous job, and to be truly the best, you have to ensure that you are constantly learning. Things change almost every year after all, and if you don't stay on top of them, well, you find yourself in some big trouble. In other words, all you have to do is deal with this frustration, is concentrate where you want to be and change your mindset. Once you see this as you bettering yourself over and above you completing a mandated chore, that frustration will slowly start to seep away. Number 2. The job can be a pretty dangerous one. There's a reason why tradesmen are paid more than the average person in Australia, and it has a lot to do with what these professionals have to deal with on a daily basis. When it comes to the plumbing sector, these men and women have to work with sewage, which results in a set of boots which are almost never clean, and when it comes to electricians, however, the problem smells a lot better but can result in the far dire consequences. Remember, electricians are often working with live wires, which if handled incorrectly could essentially lead to copious amounts of electricity traveling through their bodies. And for those of you who may think that getting shocked is a thing of the past, keep in mind that research shows that electricians still have a higher rate of workplace-related injuries than the average rate of incidents in the United States. Reports have also indicated that electricians often suffer from more illnesses during the year. Simply put, this means that as an electrician gets older, continuing down the electrical path may be quite challenging. This is especially the case when the job requires you to climb up telephone poles and run power lines late at night. We're guessing that the retirement plans of many don't include having to use 100-foot ladders or having to squeeze into tight spaces at the end of the day after all, but it must be kept in mind that this isn't all bad. Since the skills garnered from being an electrician are highly transferable, many within the industry find themselves moving to the organizational side of the job once they get a bit too old to deal with the hassle of physically fixing electrical problems. This is especially true in the field of commercial electricians, who often find themselves in the title of building manager or contractor somewhere down the line. Number 3. You are expected to work strange hours. It goes without saying that electricians are considered to be necessary due to the importance of electricity in our everyday lives. We've reached a point where society needs electricity for everything from cooking a meal to taking a shower, so when a house household has no access to the power source, things can get a bit troubling. But since emergencies can happen at any time, it must be said that electricians often find themselves working at very odd hours. This isn't the case with all electrical jobs out there, of course, especially when dealing with maintenance electricians. But when it comes to the guys who are actually called to fix problems, every day is considered to be a day on call. Quite a few electricians also choose to work for themselves outside of their ordinary working hours in an attempt to start building a client base for when they essentially go out on their own somewhere down the line. And since the building of a client base requires you to go over and above, you can imagine the hours that you have to make yourself available. There are also some electricians who are asked to travel long distances in order to fix specific problems. These electricians have often specialized and are thus paid more for their services, making this worth it at the end of the day. But all in all, this is something that is pretty difficult to get used to. When all of your friends are working usual hours and you find yourself getting called to a job when everyone is supposed to be getting together for drinks, the emotional turmoil and frustration you feel can be quite intense. Just know that this doesn't last forever, as once you've built up a happy client base, word of your work and dedication will spread, allowing you to have a pretty successful electrical business years later. And at that stage, with some great electricians under your employ, you'll be able to see your friends as much as possible. Number 4. You need to stick to the building codes. Although not exactly terrible, it must be said that commercial electricians often find that they can only complete a job within the ambit of certain building codes. This is especially relevant when it comes to the laying of wiring and installation of whole systems. The problem is that these building codes differ from region to region, and it can become quite frustrating to have to constantly look these codes up in an attempt to keep things on the up and up. Just one simple mistake causes your work to fall outside of this ambit, and the job will have to be completed all over again, no exception. Suffice to say, commercial electricians have a love-hate relationship with these constantly changing building codes and would much prefer to have a unified system that applies to all buildings within the Greater Australia. Why this hasn't been done already, we have no idea. Number 5. You may need to spend some cash on tools. And last but not least, after working your first few jobs as an electrician, you might find it's necessary for you to invest in some new electrical tools to make things easier for yourself. Usually this is the job of the employer for whom you are working, but things are a bit different in the electrical field. Depending on the apprenticeship that you are chosen for, you may have some pretty useless tools at your disposal, but you have to remember that having your own set of tools can only benefit you in the long run. They will allow you to work uniformly and complete odd jobs on the side when you're away from work. They are also necessary when you decide to start your own electrical business after all. And on that topic, if you're already an electrician running your own business or just about to start and grow your own electrical business, you must learn the 4 critical things electrical business owners wish they had learned before starting an electrical business so you don't make the same mistakes. Electrician Accelerator has put together a free training video that you can watch right now that will show you exactly how to start, grow, and build your electrical business the right way so you can consistently guarantee profitable work, free up your time, all whilst reducing stress levels and allowing you to have a sustainable and more profitable business that works for you. In this free training video, you will also learn how to generate a steady stream of jobs on demand with predictability month after month in your local area without relying on word-of-mouth referrals, how to stop competing on price with other electricians and escape your competition, how to convert at least 90% of your quotes and estimates into sales, and how to command premium prices and attract high-quality customers that will be happy to pay more. Make sure to click the link in the description and let us know what you thought about our choices for the things electricians hate about the job at hand.